Hi, everyone. Welcome back to God's Whispers, a place where we take the time to pause and reflect on the word of the Lord. I'm going to be continuing with the Gospel according to Mark, chapter 2, verses 13 through 17. Jesus is walking along and sees a tax collector sitting at his post and simply says, "Follow me." Let's listen. Jesus went out along the sea. All the crowd came to him, and he taught them. As he passed by, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the customs post. Jesus said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed Jesus. While he was at the table at his house, many tax collectors and sinners sat with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. Some scribes who were Pharisees saw that Jesus was eating with sinners and tax collectors and said to his disciples, "Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?" Jesus heard this and said to them, "Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." So, in Mark's gospel, this same man is called Levi, but in Matthew's gospel, he's called Matthew. And from when I was doing my research, many scholars say that this is the same person. In the first century, it wasn't unusual for someone to have more than one name, especially Jewish people living under Roman rule. So Levi would have been his Jewish name, tied to his past and his identity with Israel, but Matthew, which means gift from God, reflects who he is becoming after encountering Jesus. So Mark calls him Levi, the tax collector, the man that everyone judged. Matthew, when he's telling his own story later, calls himself Matthew. Not that he's hiding his past, but that he's showing that grace has given him a new name, a new identity, and a new future. He doesn't ask Levi, when Jesus approaches him, he doesn't ask Levi to clean himself up first. He doesn't lecture him about his reputation. He just simply invites him into a relationship. That's why the religious leaders were so unsettled. Excuse me. They can't understand why Jesus would sit at a table with tax collectors and sinners. But Jesus answers them very plainly. It's not the healthy who need a physician, but the sick. I didn't come to call the righteous, but the sinners. In other words, that's the whole point. Jesus isn't drawn to perfection. He wants honesty. He reaches people where they are and then walks with them into who they are becoming. So this focus for us for today, do we still see ourselves by our past labels or by who Christ says that we are now? Like Levi, maybe we carry names shaped by mistakes, regret, or judgment. But Jesus speaks a new name over us, one that is aligned with grace. So journal prompts for this passage would be, where do I still identify myself by my past instead of God's mercy? And what name might Jesus be inviting me to live into right now? And how can I respond more honestly to Jesus' call in my daily life? And then finally, who might I need to see the way that Jesus sees beyond the labels? I hope that this message was encouraging to you, and if you feel like a friend could use some encouragement, please feel free to pass it along, and don't forget to subscribe so you can continue to hear God's whispers.